students, welcome again. Here is Yashi Vadera and today we are going to learn the another topic of chapter number 3, that is silk. Now let me ask you a question. Who doesn't like wearing garment made up of silk? Now do you have any idea how the silk fibers are made into silk which is woven into saris or silk fabric which we wore? The soft touch of silk make it choice of one and all. Silk saris of India are world famous as we all know. So in this video, we are going to learn characteristics and types of silk and also needs to understand how silk fibers is made from silkworms. After the end of this video, you will able to know what silk is. You will also know life history of silk moth, characteristics of silk, history of silk and process of obtaining silk from cocoon. This is the basic introduction of silk. Now let's start our topic. As we all know, silk fibers are also animal fibers and silkworms spin the silk fibers. So the rearing, that is removing out silkworms for obtaining silk, is called sericulture. Now let's understand life history of silk moth step by step. In this process, the adult silk moths, that is male and female, gets fused and the female silk moth lay number of eggs from which hatch a larvae, that is a caterpillar, which are called caterpillars or silkworms. So these caterpillars grow in sizes and when they are ready to enter the next stage of their life history, that is called pupa, they first weaves a net to hold itself. Then the caterpillar, that is pupa, it swings its head from side to side in the form of figure 8. Now during these movements of the head, that is in the form of figure 8, the caterpillar secretes fiber which is made up of a protein. This protein hardens on exposure to air and becomes a silk fiber. Soon the caterpillar completely covers itself by the silk fibers and turns itself into a proper pupa, and this covering of them is known as cocoon. The below picture is of cocoon. In this way, cocoon is formed and caterpillar completely covers itself into it. So, the further development of this pupa into a moth continues inside the cocoon, and the silk fibers made into cocoon are used for weaving silk cloth. From this picture, you can clearly understood the life cycle of silkworm. See, the adult moths mate with each other, then the female moth lay many tiny eggs, then this egg converted into a larva, then this larva converted into a pupa, and the pupa converted into the adult moth in cocoon, from which we can get silk fibers. From this picture also, you can clearly understand its life cycle. Now let's move towards some characteristics of silk. The silk yarn, that is thread, is obtained from the cocoon of the silk moth, and there are a variety of silk moths which look very different from one another, and the silk yarn, that are the threads which they yield, is very different in texture with one another. Some are coarse, some are smooth and some are shiny. Thus, Tasar silk, Muga silk, Kosa silk, etc. are obtained from the cocoons spun by different types of moths. Now, do you know which is the most common silk moth? So, here is the answer. The most common silk moth is the mulberry silk moth. The mulberry silk moth or the silk fiber from the cocoon of this mulberry silk moth is very soft, lustrous, that is shiny, and elastic, and can be dyed in different colors. So sericulture, or we can say the culture of silkworms, is a very old occupation in our India, and India produces plenty of silk on a commercial scale. Do you know how this silk contribute to our nation's economy? So let's see this. In India, some women are significantly involved in various kinds of industries related to silk production. So this rearing of silkworms or reeling of silk from cocoons or the process of raw silk into fabrics. So by their enterprise, they contribute to the nation's economy. China leads the world in silk production, but India also ranks among the leading silk producing countries. Now let's move to the next topic, that is from cocoon to silk. Now for obtaining silk, these moths are reared and their cocoons are collected to get silk threads, which are very useful, and we have already seen their process in life history of silk moth. Now let's move to our topic, rearing silkworms, or we can say how these silkworms are reared. Let's move step by step. So in this, a female silk moth lays hundreds of eggs at a time, and these eggs are carefully stored on a strip of cloth, or we can say a paper, and these eggs are sold to silkworm farmers. Okay. So the farmers keep these eggs under some hygienic conditions and under suitable conditions of temperature and humidity. These eggs get warmed to a suitable temperature for the larvae, that is caterpillar, to hatch from eggs. This process is done when mulberry trees bear a fresh crop of leaves, as these leaves are special food of caterpillars, and the larvae that are known as caterpillars or silkworms eat day and night and increase enormously in size. So these larvae or caterpillar are kept in a clean bamboo trays from mulberry trees along with freshly chopped mulberry leaves so they can eat. After 25 to 30 days, the caterpillars stop eating and move to a tiny chamber of bamboo in the tray so they can spin cocoons. So in this tiny chamber, the caterpillars are provided with some small racks or twigs in the trays to which these cocoons get attached. So this caterpillar, or we can say silkworm, spins the cocoon inside, which finally develops into the silk moth. So this figure shows rearing of silkworms. A, that is female silkworm moth with eggs. B, which lives on mulberry tree. C, larva, or we can say caterpillar silkworm feeding on mulberry leaves in that tiny chambers, and finally the cocoons are there. Now let's move to the next topic, processing silk. After obtaining cocoon from rearing of silkworms, let's see how the silk is processed from that cocoon inside. So step 1, this pile of cocoon is used for obtaining silk fibers, as we all know. So these cocoons obtained from rearing of silkworms are kept under the sun or boiled or exposed to steam. So these boiled silk fibers are separated out, and the process of taking out these threads from the cocoon for use as silk is called reeling the silk. Remember this? So this reeling of silk is done in some special machines which unwind the threads or fibers of silk from the cocoon. Below you can see the picture of machine, that how they unwind the threads. After reeling it into special machines as shown in above pic, these threads are properly reeled like this pic shows. As we are learning of silk, let me tell you very interesting story that how the silk is discovered. So as we have already learnt about the processing silk, in that we have learned that the cocoons are kept under the sun or boiled or exposed to steam. So is there any reason that they are exposed to steam or boiled? So let me tell you one story. According to an old Chinese legend, the Empress Silang Qi was asked by the Emperor Huang Ti to find the cause of the damaged leaves of mulberry trees growing in their garden. So the Empress found that the white worms eating up mulberry trees. She also noticed that they were spinning shiny cocoons around them. Now one day she was sitting in a garden and accidentally a cocoon dropped into her cup of tea and a tangle of delicate threads separated from the cocoon. So in this way, silk industry began in China and was kept a closely guarded secret for 100 of years. So later on, traders and travelers introduced silk to other countries also, and the route they traveled is still called the Silk Route. So this processed silk or silk fibers are then spun into silk threads, which are later woven into silk cloth by weavers as we shown in the pic. So here we end this chapter, fiber to fabric.